100% walang ya. But it's very low in Visayas. But eto na, pwede ka na mag-shine, bro. Senate President Escudero, 60% NCR. Wow. 50.
Malugod kong tinatanggap ang pag-aproba nyo sa aking performance bilang Presidente ng Senado. Maraming salamat po at paglalaban po natin ang karapatan ng mga ipitang boses. Thank you very much.
Favorite ko talaga yung picture niya, naka-goggles siya, tapos inaayos yung eyebrows niya. Long
Ah,
weekend.
Gagals na po ito. Gagals na. Kamusta, Heart?
Paano yan, bro? Mas maganda na eyebrows niya sa'yo. Almost as
Uh,
nice as mine. Almost as nice as...
Kailangan magpagawa na rin ako.
Ay nako, maraming guys. Uy, ang taas niya ha, 60% NCR, 53% Luzon. Sa Mindanao lang siyang konting medyo may problema, 44%. Pero pare, ang pinakakawawa dito is Mr. 1%, consistently 1% for president in 2028. Um, uh,
House
Ferdinand,
Speaker
Ferdinand,
Ferdinand Martin
Martin
G.
Romales.
Romualdez.
Yeah,
Yes. Oh my
24% lang
God.
NCR, my God.
Pero yung change niya, hindi pa
Uh,
rin kasi, yung change niya, hindi pa rin kasing sama ng change si Sara Duterte.
Ano ka ba?
Negative
He
7.
cannot go lower than that.
That's true. Pero it's a -7 change for Martin Romualdez. -10 yung kay, malaki talaga yung kay Sara. Malaki talaga yung kay Sara.
20, 13, and 10. Punong double digit yung box up niya. 10 overall.
Oo.
Sorry, 10 overall. Hindi ba naman, so 10 overall. The 20 Visayas, 13 Mindanao. So, it looks like even the solid north of Vismin is no longer as solid for Sara anymore. So, we're seeing vulnerability. But I want to go back again to sinabi mo. Balikan natin ito, no? Again, para sa love na love natin si Ronnie Holmes and Pulse Asia. Again, I'll go back to him. Sana hindi siya magagalit sa akin ni Reyes. But I really went through the both your interview with him back in 2020. Of course, I also interviewed him and had interactions with him. But also, there's this interesting journal article na lumabas last year by Yoko Kasuya and Hirofumi Miwa. The title
Yeah.
is Pretending to Support Duterte's Popularity and Democratic Backslide in the Philippines. It's a very, very comprehensive and systematic one. Obviously, we are social sciences. You can always argue against each other. But let me just tell folks this. Nakalagay dito, at least this is the, ano, no, this is the synthesis. This study suggests that preference falsification could be an alternative explanation for the puzzle of popular incumbents in democratic backsliding, of course, particularly looking at the case of the Philippines. Can you expound on that, bro? Kasi we, both of us separately arrive at that idea of fear factor. Looks like 2020, both of us pala, in your former podcast, walang, yung basagan ng trip, di ba? You also had one on that. So, can you expound what's your take on this? Again, with all due respect, kasi alam ko naman mahirap talaga i-factor in yung fear factor, but at the same time, mahirap talaga i-deny yung fear factor. I mean,
Bro,
it
hindi ko pa nabasa yung full paper ni Yuko. Nakita ko siya mag-present last year sa Stanford. Present niya yung mga initial findings. So, at saka medyo matagal din. So, hindi na clear sa akin yung argument niya. But essentially, ang debate dito is yung fear factor for support nga kay Duterte. Alam ko, Pulse Asia was very cognizant of the possibility of fear factor being a thing at that time. So, yung ginawa ng Pulse Asia is in fact nagpapadala yan ng mga tao kasama ng mga interviewer sila to check, to monitor kung mukha bang natatakot yung mga interview nila. So, ang nangyayari dyan, may isang mag-interview, tatanong kung ano yung support, tapos may isang independent observer yung pulsation, titignan mukha bang takot. And ang assessment ni Ronnie is wala silang nakitang takot. And then yung isa pang argument ng Pulse Asia was that in fact, yung one way to gauge fear is rejection rate. Ayaw mong sumagot ng survey kasi natatakot kang sabihin kung ano yung gusto mong sabihin. Mas mataas pa ang rejection rate daw nung panahon ni Noynoy compared dun sa rejection rate nung panahon ni Duterte. So, based on Pulse Asia cannot conclude na fear factor was a factor or that fear was a factor. Right? Of course, just
but
because
you
they
can
can
also
conclude that
say
fear was a
mm,
factor doesn't necessarily mean they rule it out. Just they're saying they don't have the data to make that claim, right? They can't back a claim like that. So if you just read Yuko's paper, hindi ko pa nabasa and I'd appreciate actually hindi ko lang na na-publish na. Download ko mamaya basahin ko. Pero anong
send ko
sabi
yung
ng
link. Oo.
sabi ng papel na 'yun?
Oh, at saka I'll send to everyone for everyone to read kasi interesting yung ano nila, breakdown nila ng environment of serve. I mean, because you could also say in an environment of fear, rejecting participation in the survey could also be read in a wrong way, right?
Mm.
You,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? So, parang, di, fill up na natin, baka, ganun. Anyway, I'm not saying na hindi popular si Digong. Obviously, siya yung, he's the art of budol. Di ba kung art of the deal kay Trump, art of budol talaga kay Digong. Hindi ko talaga
Mm.
ma-deny yan. He's really charismatic, nakakatuwa siya every day. I give it to him. But I think to really deny the fear factor, I'm really not convinced. But what I can agree with Ronnie Holmes is that but how can you quantify that? Yun yung mahirap. Talagang debatable talaga yan. Sobrang debatable yan. Pero preference falsification is I think a thesis that we have to work on. Um because you can look at other countries like Russia, right? When Putin suddenly has super high approval ratings and all, they're like, like someone calls you or someone goes to you and like, what is your incentive to say I don't like Putin or like, you know what I'm saying? Like the incentive is really leaning towards falsification rather than other ways. That's in Russia. So the
Mm.
argument, the other evidence you can, or at least proxy evidence, brother, here is 8 out of 10 Filipinos in SWS service consistently said takot sila na maging biktima ng EJK. So,
Malinaw yun. Malinaw yun.
isn't that a complete reflection of a climate of fear? I don't know what else are you gonna when 8
Actually,
out of 10 Filipinos by 2018 and 19 are still saying takot sila mabiktima ng EJK. And then right and left, nakita mo yung mga politiko na sa sniper, na narco list.
okay.
It's just so hard not to look at
Okay.
this climate of fear. Eh.
I see. And then, bro, I guess that allows us then to read this new survey in that light a little bit, di ba? Bakit mabilis bumagsak si Sarah? Hindi natakot yung
Kasi
mga tao
walang
eh.
fear factor, exact.
Wala silang kapangyarihan eh, di ba? Hindi ka na pwedeng itodas ng mga pulis nila. Yeah, I
I mean, it
I
connects.
can't
Eh.
rule it out. It does connect. But also, 'di ba, part of what we do is we want to encourage people to think about the methods of the social sciences, 'di ba? Just because we say na factor to doesn't mean nawawala yung ibang factor. Um, Hindi ito single factor kung bakit nag-decline si Sarah.
Multivariant naman tayo. Eh.
Multivariant talaga ito. So, just because in-entertain namin to possibility na to doesn't mean we're no longer entertaining the possibility na gumana yung Quadcom, that there was a lot of sexism, na nabastusan yung mga tao kay Sarah. It's part and parcel of a very large picture that determine these surveys. Kaya nga interesting to talk about surveys kasi sa harap numero lang yan eh, 'di ba? Pero once you start digging into the surveys, dito na yung dito na talaga yung magic ng social sciences. And this is what I think differentiates a good social scientist from a great social scientist, the capacity to talk about what's happening behind the numbers.
Absolutely. And I think the debate really is the mix, no? Which one has a bigger contribution? Is it the budul? Is it the popularity? Is it the ayuda? Ganon. So, don't pwede tayo magkaroon ng healthy debate, diba? But I want to ask you this, bro. The other side of the equation is still Marcos Jr. As an iconoclast, you always once in a while come up with interesting stuff to say, right? Like, one of the things I love about you saying a few years ago is that Philippine studies became Duterte studies, right? Like, that's good. That's a good way of putting it. Another one, although I'm not sure anymore.
Galing ate kay paring Mark Thompson yun eh. Or
Ay,
partly galing
yeah,
kay
yeah.
paring Mark Thompson.
Basta may panel kayo nun, di ba?
Oo.
And then the other thing you said that really caught my attention because I think this goes back to yung book mo Taming, di ba? About the EDSA revolution. Um, you are saying that BBM is essentially an EDSA president, right?
Mm-mm.
Can you expound on that? To what degree him being an EDSA president also explains his conflict avoidance? Kasi ang basa ko dito is, yes, and here I want to be fair kasi nasa solid north ako. Yes, may
Nasa Baguio ka ba ngayon, bro?
oh, may
Okay, okay.
undisclosed
The
location,
heartland.
undisclosed location.
The
Um,
heartland.
uh, so more like Highland than Heartland. Kasi
Oh, yeah.
distance, LT distance, medyo Heartland, lawag na ngayon eh, Batak. But, going back to this bro, kasi, wala, nakalimutan ko, ano sasabihin ko? No, 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 going back, no, one
Yung
is
EDSA
temperament.
president,
One
EDSA
is his
president.
temperament, right? One is his temperament. Conflict avoidance siya. It's a long story why. It is a circuitous journey, right? Like he went from camouflage, last hawk as our good friend, what's his name? Yung Inquirer, Si Manolo, right? Manolo called him the last hawk, right? Um, and then he went through the journey, conflict. But the other one, bro, is precisely because his name is Ferdinand Marcos Jr. He always has essentially, like this pressure on him not to look authoritarian, and I think that explains why he is extra cautious more than he
Mm.
should be, right? Not to mention, and the third factor, I think binasa niya ito, bro, no? Mutual destruction. He's seeing it. His numbers in Mindanao are pathetic
Mm.
because there is a backlash against him. And then obviously, probably even has a legit fear of destabilization because as we talk, nagka-announcement ang isang major religious group that they'll have a major rally
Mm.
against injustice in mid-January. So I mean, maybe we can ask Trillanes again kung may coup plot. I mean, Trillanes has a postdoctoral in coup plot studies.
Plate. Oh my God.
I mean, I love the guy, but like, let's be honest. Like, I don't have many guests na regular na 3 times coup plotter. Like, I'm just saying. Ronald, maybe one na hindi ko alam, pero ito tatlo eh. So, going back to that, brother, what is your take on that? How does the EDSA constitutional order structure and explain BBM's overly conflict avoidant approach?
Ako unang-una, ang favorite comparison ko kasi Noynoy and BBM. Napaka-similar, di ba? Si Noynoy gustong ipagpatuloy yung magandang pangalan ng kanyang mga magulang, yung sinasabi niya. Si BBM gusto niyang linisin ang magandang pangalan ng mga kanyang mga magulang. And I think if we think about it from that perspective, that what was the point and what is the ongoing point of the Marcos restoration? It's actually to rewrite history. It's actually for people to forget about the excesses of their family so that they can quote unquote move on. Yun yung term, di ba? Yun yung favorite term nila, move on. And what better way to do that than to disentangle the Marcos name from authoritarianism? And what is the opposite of authoritarianism in the Philippines? It's the EDSA Republic. It's the rebuilding of a democracy after the fall of the dictatorship, which includes, of course, regular elections, and which, of course, includes the dirty process of dealing with a variegated Philippine oligarchy. Kasi nung panahon ng tatay ni Bongbong Marcos, isang oligarch, hawak niya lahat. Isang kasike, tao nga ni Ben Anderson, tsaka niya supreme
The
kasike.
Supreme
In,
Court.
in the EDSA democracy, it's a rotating chair. It's rotating chairs of multiple kasikes na kailangan pakainin lahat ng presidente. And that's how you play the EDSA game. And of course, because all of these factions within the oligarchy, within the powerful Philippine political structure, lahat sila may mga pangil. Kung ayaw mo sumabit, kailangan more or less kaya mong aregluhin yung mga problema with various parts of this oligarchy, and Bongbong is playing that game. In many ways, I guess he is constitutionally well prepared for this game or suitable for this game kasi mabait siya na tao at maayos siyang kausap from what I hear.
Uy, Lele, baka next thing I know, meron kayong Malacanang picture like Kiko Pangilinan, ha? Oh my God. Wait, bago
Sinabi
tayo
natin
pumunta doon.
Pag sinabi nating mabait na tao, I'm not making so let me clarify that. I'm not saying na parang maybe I should rephrase it. Hindi mabait, amiable.
And amiability.
Amiable,
Yeah,
amiable, amiable, amiable.
that's a very good. Okay, yeah, we have to be
Amiable.
careful with
Very amiable.
synonyms. Alam mo, bro,
Oo.
sino magaling sa synonyms? Si Lacson.
Bakit, bakit?
Napansin mo, puro thesaurus yung pag nagpo-post siya, parang 10 synonyms ang ginamit niya sa isang tweet. But anyway, mamaya na tayo mag Mr. GMRC. Mahal na natin yan.
Pero bro, so balik tayo dun sa survey, 'di ba? Sa tingin mo ba finally gumagana na yung strategy? Kasi kinain na ni Marcos yung kanyang yung kanyang hit in popularity nung tinira niya yung mga Duterte, sila ni Martin Romualdez, ayun na, bumaba na sa Mindanao. So, kinain na yon. Ngayon, dito sa survey nito, dalawa na lang yung binagsak niya eh. So, is it possible that this guy has hit his floor already and that he can
Yeah.
cruise from this point onwards? Do you see that as a possibility? Or is it possible that bababa pa siya lalo? Or is this the floor for Bongbong Marcos?
I think you're raising a very good point, yung elasticity of support, no? So I think in terms of elasticity, in terms of downward elasticity, you could argue maybe Sara has still room for decline, no?
Mas
Um,
malaki. Mas malaki.
mas
Oo.
malaki. And the point is, she's not the president. The president controls all the levers of power. So
Mm.
so in a situation whereby both of them are at below majority support, which is very low for Filipino presidents at this stage in their
Oo.
office, still it's an asymmetrical equivalence in the sense that still Marcos has all of the levers of power, and you, as you were mentioning a while ago, his team is looking strong for next year's elections. As you said, di ba usually kasi parang 6 to 9, parang 2013, di ba? 6 to 9 out of 12 ay pro-admin ang nananalo, di ba?
Mhm.
Um, Eto, baka posible pa nga 8 to 10 out of 12
Mhm.
ay admin leaning, right? Or at
Mhm.
least not Duterte leaning. I mean, the
Mhm.
only Duterte candidate that is doing well so far is Bongo, right?
Oo, na tumaas pa.
Na
Tumaas
tumaas
pa.
pa.
And I actually want to talk about that because it's very, for me, I always thought that Bongo and Bato sank or swam together. Pero mukhang hindi. Mukhang hindi. Mukhang ibang-iba ang fates ng dalawa.
No, because Bongo has really been very adept at building his own brand, yung Malasakit project niya.
Oo.
If you follow
Oo.
his Facebook, I check his Facebook, meron pa siya yung mga K-pop, mga He's a
Hmm.
very adept politician. Essentially, he has built his own brand. Nag
Yeah, yeah.
Nag-post Dutertismo na siya. Well,
Meron
but,
siyang brand
yeah.
of malasakit machine politics na wala si Bato na ano lang, ang style lang ni Bato is he will latch on to Duterte. Although I thought na parang among the pro-DDS candidates, si Bato lang yung merong Duterte humor. Again, you may not like the humor, but he's the only one who has that register.
Actually, bro, I have to give credit to Bato. I always thought Bato was like a contrived authenticity. Meaning na ganyan lang siya kasi bata siya ni Digong. Now, the other day, meron kaming show sa One News TV5 yung yung parang safe house, puro mga host
Mm,
magkasama. Kasama ko
mm,
si Ronald at si Ed Lingao. Si Ed Lingao
mm.
showed us a documentary from 20 years ago or so nung Special Forces si Bato. Bro, essentially, Bato, as you see, same body, same everything, may buhok pa ng konti, talks exactly the same. As in, batong-bato. And then, nasa gitna sila ng giyera sa Mindanao. He's still talking like a bato, yung nagpapatawa, very self-confident. So, I understand while gustong-gusto. So, in a way, Bato is a mini-me of Duterte.
Oo,
While
oo.
interestingly, Bongo, he's the consigliere who rebranded himself and building his own, essentially, political momentum right now.
Oo.
Ang galing ni,
I,
Bongo is
I,
very hardworking and very, very
yeah,
inspiring.
yeah. So parang yung Duterte talaga, yung Duterte forces, yung DDS talaga is really Digong. A lot of people have elements of Digong, but because they don't have the full package, hindi nila magawang maging Digong. So let's say si Bato, for example, has Duterte's humor, has Duterte's self-deprecation, pero kulang siya dun sa iba. Si Bato, he has the capacity to signal malasakit the way Duterte did. Si
Bongo,
Sara
Bongo, Bongo.
si Bongo, sorry, si Bongo has the capacity to signal malasakit. Si Sarah has the brashness, 'di ba? Pero wala ng humor, 'di ba? So, parang lahat sila may elemento ni Digong pero walang complete package. Kaya mahina yung coalition. But yeah, I interesting yung kay Bato, yung kay Bongo kasi si Bongo tumaas pa. The expectation was bababa si Bongo, 'di ba? Kasi sa last survey, mababa na sila
Sa
mababa si
SWS yun, ha?
tanggalin si
That was
Bato,
SWS. That was
tanggalin si
SWS.
Bato, tsaka si Bongo, medyo alanganin na pero nasa Magic 12 pa. Pero yun mukhang tumataas ang trajectory ni Bongo pataas. So,
And
I
one
don't
more
know.
person, Willie Revillame. Because if
Willie
you look at
Revillame.
Willie
Pero Willie
Revillame,
Revillame is his own man.
his own man, but he leans more friendly to the Dutertes than should be otherwise. Do you get what I'm saying? Among the
Kaya,
independents. Kasi, you could think of other independents out there na hindi ganun ka-DDS, di ba? Eto si Willie has a very friendly relationship. So what I find very interesting in the latest surveys is both Willie Revillame and Bongo are doing very well, which talks about yung kanilang structural strengths. Willie, we
mhm,
know, is the showbiz factor. But kay Bongo, bro, is also organizational. Again,
mhm,
if I
mhm.
were to use sorry for
Parang Binay ba? Parang Binay level organizational
medyo
structure.
or even better.
Diba?
I mean, he's essentially I don't mean it in a parang kumbaga parang if I wanted to use the Trotsky Lenin thing about papatayin
Sige
ako.
lang, sige lang.
But you can also like what made Stalin win that mini civil war within the Politburo, 'di ba? During the as Lenin entered his deathbed was his organizational power, right?
Mm.
Hindi siya ganun
Mm.
ka-charismatic, hindi siya magaling magsalita, hindi siya eloquent like Trotsky and all of that. Pero operator siya. Behind the scenes, he's putting things together and all. And eventually, that's
Yan
why
si
he won.
Bongo.
I
Yan
think
si
Bongo
Bongo.
has that power, and in the end, you cannot deny the influence of that. He's so good in organization. Kasi business ang background niya eh. Lasal, ano yan eh, commerce yan eh. So he's really a businessman when he thinks. He's really organized. He puts everything together. And unlike Bato, if you notice, there are times Bongo a little bit, medyo gumagano ng konti, di ba? Like on China, bigla matapang na siya. Well, Bato talagang stick to Digong's line. Parang by hook or by crook. So, feeling ko,
Tsaka isa malaking
dexterity.
diferensya. Isa malaking diferensya. War on drugs. Si Bato talaga is always going to be associated with the war on drugs. Si Bongo, kaya pa niya magugas kamay ng konti, pero mahirap kung ikaw yung PNP chief eh. Kung mahirap kung ikaw yung main administrator. So I think that's a good sign actually. I mean, aminin ko, ayoko si Bato, ayoko kay Bongo. Pero kung pipili ako, if one of the henchmen had to get in, mas okay na siguro si Bongo. So I see the kind of wisdom of the Filipino public here na kung if we have to accept one DDS, sige siya na. Having said that, bro, what do you think of the rest of the PDP Laban DDS slate? Talagang parang mukhang pulpul. Including someone who is like, I love this one hit, but he's a one hit wonder, man. You know who I'm talking about?
Wait, sino?
Somebody told me you were
Eh!
leaving. You
Sabi ko
know,
si attorney.
somebody told me you're unhappy. Sorry.
Alala mo bro, yung
I love
pina-fact
that
check,
song.
pina-fact check sila sa Facebook, sabi nila lipat daw sila dun sa Russian version ng Facebook. Remember,
Oh.
di ba Russia has its own version of Facebook? Sabi ko, this guy had lost it. Sabi niya, lipat tayo, sinesensor tayo ng Facebook, doon na
Oh.
tayo sa ano yung Facebook ng Russia. Like,
Ito rin siya. Ito rin.
sabi ko, ang mga kalaban mo lang dyan si Ronald Llamas pag Russian Facebook. Siya lang
Pero
may account dun.
it's so telling, 'di ba, na parang yung PDP laban walang makuha na mainstream powerful
Scraping. Scraping.
politiko na may pangalan, 'di ba? That in itself is telling. Na feel ng
Encouraging,
mga
I would
tao.
say. Encouraging,
Oh,
I would say.
encouraging. And then dun sa mga yung manok lang nila na ilulusot is somebody who, as you say, has his own political machine, which means the PDP machine cannot build anyone up at this point. And nobody wants to be built up by the PDP machine.
Just to be clear, yung friend natin si Mark Gamboa ranks higher than Vic Rodriguez. Tapos,
So,
alam mo
ganyan,
na,
ganyan, ganyan, brother, nagaling ng Malacanang yan, ha? Hindi sa minamalit ko si Mark Gamboa, pero si
no,
Mark
no,
Gamboa,
love,
never galing ng Malacanang yan.
hindi ko
Matalino,
minamalit si Mark, ha?
tatalino
Hindi ko
lang
rin
na yan.
minamalit si Mark. Ang sinasabi ko lang, wait, let me finish. May billboard na kasi si Vic Rodriguez. Tapos nakita yung
May libro
billboard,
pa, bro!
ha?
May libro pa!
Hindi, yung libro niya
Dapat
walang nagbasa. Pero sabi nga ni Ronald, ano na eh, ginamit na pang ano sa, sa, baka may sasabihin ako makancel.
pinakilo niya? Pinakilo. Hindi pa naman nata pinapakilo yung
Pinalinis ng
libro, bro.
Windows SM. No,
Ah,
but bro, no. He has a billboard, malaking billboard, malapit sa Rockwell. Tapos parang inaakyat siya, kamay niya, parang si Digong nag-akyat ng kamay niya. Pero sa totoo lang, siya yung nag-akyat ng kamay ni Digong. Because Digong looks so enervated and old and frail. So actually, if you look at the picture, bro, dun sa ano, parang tingnan mo, bro, pag mahanap mo yan, parang si Digong pa yung pinilit ni Vic Rodriguez na akyat ng kamay.
oh my God.
Actually, Digong looks old, no? He doesn't
He
look
looks
well.
very, he looks very old. He
Very,
looks
he's not,
oh.
he doesn't look well, no? So, maybe that also explains why. Siguro if Digong were a bit more
More
energetic and,
spry, oh, more
yun nga eh.
spry. Alam mo, come to think about it, 'di ba? Ang strongman tinatamaan talaga yan pag namumukhang mahina, 'di ba? Kasi literally yung credibility mo nanggagaling sa lakas mo sa pagkamacho mo. That's why nga si Apo, si Ferdinand Marcos Sr., nung nagkalupos na yan, itinatago yan, 'di ba? Because they didn't want people seeing the strongman weak. And I think that's may ganyan konting dynamic din dito kay Digong.
Absolutely. And kaya nga, actually, swerte tayo na Digong ran for presidency in his 70s. Had we got the Digong in his 60s, or forget
Oo
about
nga.
50s, he would have been, wala na, forever president na yan. He would have been
Ah,
so adept and, I
ano.
mean, diba, we escaped by the skin of our teeth, let's be honest. If not for AFP, and if not for Digong being a bit sabog, tapos ng laban, bro. At kung
Mm.
nakinig si Digong dun sa advice ng dating campaign manager niya, naggagawa sila ng sarili nilang Chavismo movement, 'di ba? Yung kilusan.
Yes.
Tapos ng
Yes,
laban,
yes,
bro. Tapos ng
yes,
laban.
yes,
So
yes.
actually, we had many near calls. I mean, that's why I'm saying, people, for everything you say against BBM, and we have to criticize BBM of that. We really were close to essentially a kind of a Putin Erdogan system not long ago,
Mm.
except even more
Oo.
than Putin and Erdogan, I would say.
Tsaka si Duterte, yun naman talaga yung gusto niya eh. Kasi nung kampanya pa lang, he was already telling the Inquirer, yung forum ng Inquirer, na nagpakita siya dun sa Lasal, he wanted to dismantle Philippine democracy. He said it, you know? He wanted to dismantle Philippine constitutional democracy. There was an article by John Nery that said that this guy has already telegraphed to us what he wants to do. And he looked like he wanted to do it, di ba? I'm about to read itong bagong I just got my hands on Marites Vitog's na not so new book anymore, yung Unrequited Love about Duterte in China. And ano lahat ng mga kwento. A lot of those stories nabanggit na ni I think many of the stories there, although I'm sure there are others, nabanggit na ni former Justice Carpio sa podcast. Kagaya for example yung Chinese surveillance equipment sa military natin. I mean, my God, naghihingalo talaga ang Pilipinas ng panahon na yon. Actually, bro, this year, ang mga pinaka nakakatakot mo na podcast, just looking back, ay yung mga podcast where you were talking to Justice Carpio. Because Justice Carpio has a way of telling the story in a way na it makes you realize nga how close we were to a collapse of our constitutional democracy. The stakes become so clear pag siya nagkukwento. I don't know what it is about Justice Carpio, but he's so his stories are scary. His stories are, if I may, effing scary.
Yeah, I feel offended for Trillanes because I think Senator Trillanes
Ah,
said
oh,
also
he's scary too. Oh, he's scary too.
scary
Oh.
thing. Pero you're right, kasi the thing kay Trillanes is it sounds so fantastical. Although
Mm.
unfortunately it's true, right? Yung mga all
Oh.
like, pero kay Justice Carpio kasi he says it in a very magisterial Supreme Court way.
Mm.
So clinical. So it's so scary. It's like, so
Kikilabutan ka
ito
na lang bigla.
nangyari. Oh, muntik namin pinutol yung ano ng puso mo. Actually, patay ka ng 10 seconds, pero binuhay ka na. Like, he explains it like a doctor na you're almost dead. Pero,
Oh.
like, but yeah, I think you'll be okay. But, like, ganon.
Oh.
Kaya scary siya eh. Kaya scary.
Oh. So yeah, we don't appreciate how close we got there. And I don't know, are you feeling so, end of the year, are you feeling more optimistic start of the year than you were end of the year than you were at the beginning of the year?
So here is where I wanted to take over, brother. So, what we have been discussing for the past 2, 3, 4 years and so is really crystallizing right now, which is the loss of the Dutertes is not necessarily the gain of the Marcoses, in a sense that
Mm.
hindi tumataas ang number ni BBM, and more important, hindi tumataas yung number ng supposed anointed successor niya na consistently 1%, right? But the Tulfos are really juicing it. So the loss of Dutertes and the mutual destruction between the Marcoses and Dutertes is really benefiting the Tulfos big time. The two brothers, Ben and Erwin, for number one. This is still consistent. We're seeing that. Tomas pa si Erwin. He was down to 57, 54%. Even now, he's at 65, 66%. To think na he's attached pa sa admin, and yet he still, maintains that. And then Rafi Tulfo is consistent in number one. It's just a question of margins. I think his margins will keep on increasing over. Now, we will obviously go to the genuine opposition soon, but my sense is it's also very possible that the Tulfos will just pick things up and take it from there next year
Mm.
after making a and then they will define the conversation from 2025 onwards. Especially if they do very well in the Senate race and Rafi Tulfo maintains his kind of momentum. So, baka yung moment of truth na hinintay natin, di ba, na mag-showdown yung Duterte and Marcos, and they'll be like, baka it will just, poof, it will just go away, and then conversation moves to the Tulfos and someone else, right? So I see very much that possibility because kasi nagpaparamdaman lahat eh. Yung
Mm.
isang kampo, yung religious group nila, lalabas ng ganito, but I don't think it will be so big. Yung kabila naman, like everyone is like, hapyaw lahat eh. No one has a
That's
decisive,
interesting.
there's no decisiveness on any side. No decisiveness
So,
in terms of number of people on the ground. No decisiveness in terms of actual decision making. No decisive, like for instance, even Sarah immediately said, "Oh, hindi ko naman sinabi na papatayin kita. Yun lang, conditional, ganun." So, everyone
totoo
is,
naman yun. Actually, to be fair to Sarah, totoo naman yun. The way she phrased it was, sabihin mo na kung pinapatay ako ni BBM, meron akong assassin na gaganti. So, in other words, sinasabi niya kung patayin niyo ako, papatayin kayo ng assassin ko. So, totoo naman yun, to be fair.
threat, ano ka ba, bro? It's like,